The fact that you are burned out right now is a sign that your soul is trying to return to the true you. A quiet story of rebirth that begins from within the ashes, as told by Tesla. If, right now, your heart feels empty, and you are so completely exhausted that you can no longer even try hard at anything, please listen quietly, just as you are. In the morning, you open your eyes, but your body will not move even a single millimeter. The things you once loved so much, your heart no longer reacts to them at all. The energy to be kind to someone, the energy to encourage yourself, there is none left anywhere. Looking at you like this, the world may say this. You are being lazy. You have simply become weak. If you just push a little harder, you should be able to return to how you were. But there is something I want to tell you clearly. You are not wrong, and you are not broken. What is happening inside you right now is something the word burnout cannot begin to describe. It is something far deeper and far more sacred. It is the moment when the garments of someone who is not the true you, garments you have put on throughout your life, are quietly turning to ash. After a long journey, your soul is finally trying to return to the true you. You are now standing at that final doorway. Think about it. A forest that has burned down completely, people call it a wasteland. But in the natural world, soil that fire has passed through is the very soil that grows new life most richly. The ash of the old trees fills the ground with nutrients, and from beneath it, a seed no one ever noticed quietly begins to sprout. Your now is exactly this moment. In this video, I will speak gently about why burnout is the signal of a return to your true self. About why the people who can push hardest are the ones who burn out most deeply, and about the gentle path for the true you to quietly rise up from within the ashes. If, right now, you feel that you might already be finished, please do not rush and stay here with me until the end. By the time this hour is over, the emptiness within you will no longer be something frightening. It will have changed into the quietest and most beautiful place, a place for the true you to come home to. Chapter 1. Burnout is not destruction. It is the sacred phenomenon of a false self turning to ash. The first thing I want to tell you is this truth. The phenomenon we call burnout never means that you are broken. From the perspective of the universe, burnout is the moment when many layers that are not the true you, layers you have acquired throughout the life you have lived, are being quietly burned away from the inside. Let me ask you to think for a moment. Throughout your life until now, you have taken on many roles. I must be a good person. I must live up to expectations. I must not be a burden to anyone. I must be strong. Layering on these invisible garments one by one, you have walked all the way to here. And the weight of those garments was far greater than you yourself ever imagined. The soul, by its true nature, is a very light being. But when it keeps wearing garments that are not the true self for a long time, the soul is slowly worn down by that weight. And one day, when it reaches the limit point where it can take no more, the soul itself makes the decision to burn those garments away. That is the true nature of the phenomenon we call burnout. The reason you now feel that you can do nothing, that you can feel nothing, is not because your abilities have been lost. It is because the supply source of energy that was moving you, an energy that was not the true you, has finally run out. This is not an ending. This is the moment just before the true beginning. Think of it like the wick of a candle that has burned out all of its fire. After all, the wax has melted and the flame has quietly gone out. Heat still remains in the wick. That heat is waiting for new wax. It is waiting for a new fuel, the fuel that is the true you. So please feel at ease. If you feel that something inside you has ended, that is the correct answer. What needed to end has finally ended, and it is only from that place where things have ended that the true you can rise up. Chapter 2. The 5 sensations that appear as signs of your return to the true you. Within burnout, there is a deep meaning that you have not yet noticed. Let me tell you the 5 sensations that always appear as signs of your return to the true you. The first, the things you thought you loved suddenly feel like they no longer matter. This is not a loss. It is the beginning of a deep realization. It is the realization that, among the things you thought you loved, things you yourself never truly wanted had been mixed in. From here on, only the things the true you desires will slowly remain.
The second, the energy to try to live up to someone's expectations completely disappears. Even the small expectations you once pushed yourself to meet, you can no longer meet them now. This is the clearest signal that your soul is finally trying to reclaim a life for your own sake. The third, there are moments when you suddenly no longer know who you are.
This may be a frightening sensation, but this is the very proof that the door to your return to the true you is opening. It is the moment when the titles and roles you have acquired all peel away at once, and you quietly arrive at the center of a self that is no one in particular. The fourth, tears overflow for no reason at all. This is not weakness. It is a phenomenon of purification, in which the true emotions pushed down for many years finally find a safe place and come out to the surface. Each single drop of tears gently washes away the heavy energy within you. The fifth, time spent alone suddenly begins to feel comfortable. The stillness you once thought of as loneliness has now changed into a deep peace. This is the deepest signal of all. It means your soul has finally moved away from the noise of the outside and is ready to reunite with itself. Among these 5 sensations, are there any that have already begun to happen to you? If even one of them has begun, then the true you has almost returned, right there beside you. Chapter 3. Why the people who can push hardest burn out the most deeply. The quantum workings of energy leakage. Let me speak now about a strange phenomenon that many people have carried. It is the phenomenon that the people who can push hardest, the kind people, the people with a sense of responsibility, are the ones who burn out most deeply. This never means that pushing hard was a mistake. But when you understand the workings of the universe, you can clearly see why this happens. In the world of quantum physics, human energy is thought to circulate naturally only when it matches one's own true frequency. When you live at the frequency of your true self, even though energy goes out, it naturally returns to the inside. It is just like the flow of a river pouring into the sea, becoming clouds from the sea, and returning to the river again as rain. But when you keep pushing hard at a frequency that is not your true self, this circulation of energy quietly comes to a stop. For example, when you make a smile, even though you truly want to rest. When you take something on, even though you truly want to say no. When you swallow your words, even though you truly have an opinion. With each and every one of these moments, a faint leakage of energy was happening, away from your true frequency. While it is leaking, a person does not notice it. In a day or two, you feel nothing wrong. But when it continues for years, for decades, one day the energy within you completely runs dry. The people who can push hardest are able to keep this leakage going for a long time. The kinder a person is, the more they prioritize others' energy over their own. The greater a person's sense of responsibility, the more they tell themselves they are still all right, even when they have truly reached their limit. So the fact that you have burned out deeply is not proof that you were weak. Rather, it is pure proof of strength. It is proof that you were able to live for this long and this sincerely, even while not being the true you. And to that strength, the universe is now telling you this. You have done enough. You may now return to the true you. From here on, there is no longer any need to leak. The moment you return to your own true frequency, your energy naturally begins to circulate. What you give out naturally returns. That original flow quietly comes back to life within you. Chapter 4. The 4 traps that 99% of people fall into while trying to recover from burnout. When people try to escape from burnout, most of them, without realizing, fall into traps that push recovery even further away. Here, Let me gently tell you about those 4 traps. The first trap is to force yourself to summon motivation. I cannot stay like this. I must do something, and you try to rouse yourself. But this is like forcibly blowing breath onto a fire that has burned out. Not only does the fire grow even weaker, it also steals away the small heat that still remained. The second trap is to compare your burned out self with your past self. I used to be able to do so much more. You remember the image of your past energetic self, and you begin to blame your present self. But the you from before the burnout was in a state of wearing garments that are not the true self. The you of now is the you with those garments removed, a you that is closer to the truth. The one you are comparing against is, from the very start, the wrong one. The third trap is to rush your recovery and try to return quickly to your old life. I have to go back to work. I have to resume my social life, and you begin to feel anxious. But if you try to return to your old life before returning to the true you will simply burn out again, in the same place, in the same way. Recovery is not returning to the old place. It is rising up in a new place. The fourth trap is to try to ask someone for help and end up pushing hard for that someone instead. This is a trap that kind people are especially likely to fall into. You try to have someone listen to you, but you consider the other person's feelings, and you end up behaving so as not to tire them out. And after you have finished talking, you notice that, somehow, you are more tired than before. So what should you do? The answer is just one thing. Do not try to recover. Do nothing. And do not blame yourself for doing nothing. The true you can only return from within the stillness of doing nothing. Chapter 5. The 3 quiet rituals for the true you to reboot. From here, let me share 3 rituals for the true you to quietly reboot. These are not actions. They are not active effort. They are the gentlest of practices, ones that simply give permission. The first ritual. When you wake up in the morning, quietly murmur these words. Today, too, I do not have to do anything. These are not words of laziness. They are an invitation to the true you. They are the most important sentence. One that gently frees your soul from the long-held belief that you have no value unless you do something. The moment you speak these words, the faucet of energy that has kept leaking within you quietly begins to close. The second ritual. During the day, try to write down the moments when the voice of your true self could be heard. Faintly. It may be a moment when you suddenly wanted to eat something. It may be a moment when you felt you did not want to see anyone. It may be a moment when the light outside the window looked just a little more beautiful. No matter how small the voice, it does not matter. The true you has been kept silent for a long time. This ritual is the practice of trusting that voice once again. Each time you write it down, the true you slowly reclaims a louder voice. The third ritual. Before you sleep at night, place your hand on your chest and tell yourself this. Thank you for enduring so well all this time while living without being the true you. This is a ritual of gratitude toward your past self. While wearing garments that are not the true self, you still live doing your very best. There is no need to deny that effort. Simply, gently tell yourself that it is all right for it to be over now. When this one sentence resonates deeply within you, the true you finally returns, quietly, with peace of mind. It is not a dramatic moment. By the time you notice it, the true you is quietly sitting within you, simply in the form of being there. Chapter 6. The 3 changes in life that arrive for a person who has returned to the true self. For a person who has passed through burnout and begun to return to the true self, 3 great changes will surely arrive in life. These are not flashy changes, but they are deep changes, ones that transform the very way the world looks, from the inside. The first change. Even without pushing hard, the things you need begin to happen naturally. The things you once pulled toward yourself through desperate effort, after you return to the true you, begin to arrive from the other side, surprisingly naturally. This is not magic. It is simply that the universe has begun to deliver what is most suitable, naturally, to a you who lives at the frequency of your true self. The second change. Your relationships quietly, but surely, change over. The people who had gathered around you when you were not the true you naturally drift away. In their place, people who resonate with the true you slowly begin to appear. This is not a lonely phenomenon. Rather, it means that a season has begun, a season in which you can finally meet the people you had never truly met before. The third change. Even when you are doing nothing, a feeling of being fulfilled wells up. Before, you could not feel your own worth unless you achieved something. But after you return to the true you, a strange sensation arrives. The sensation of being deeply fulfilled simply by existing. This is the discovery of a truth. The truth that the true you has, for a very long time already, been a being that is enough, just as it is. When these three changes arrive, you are no longer a burned-out person. You have become a person who has begun to breathe, for the very first time. As the true self, you become able to understand, from the bottom of your heart, that everything in life, which once felt heavy, was a gentle arrangement from the universe, something that was needed for the true you to return. Chapter 7. Burnout is the universe's permission to finally take off the false armor. Finally, let me speak about the thing I most want to tell you. Burnout is permission from the universe. For a long time, you have kept fighting while wearing armor that is not the true self. That armor may have been trying not to let you get hurt. It may have been necessary in order to survive within society. But the weight of that armor was quietly, and surely, suffocating the true you. And one day, the universe told your soul this. It is all right now. You may take off that armor now. That permission, in the world of emotion, appears in the form of burnout. Think about it. In order to take off the armor, the energy that was supporting that armor must completely run out. Because while energy still remains, no matter how painful it is, a person keeps gripping the armor tightly. So the fact that you are now so burned out that you can do nothing means you are standing in the most blessed moment of all, the moment when you can finally take off the armor. This is not something terrible. This is a blessing. After you take off the armor. At first, you may feel surprisingly defenseless. But that very defenselessness was the original form of the true you, the soft, deep, and gentle you, who was locked inside the armor, is finally beginning to touch the outside air. And one day, you will surely realize something. You will realize that the voice which once made you suffer so much, the voice saying you must be someone, no longer exists within you. And in its place, the true you is standing there, fulfilled simply by quietly being. That is the quietest and the most precious gift from the universe, a gift received only by a person who has passed through the door named burnout. Thank you, truly, for listening to my long talk all the way to this point today. Until today, how many things have you carried on your back? An exhaustion you could show to no one. You quietly swallowed it every morning and began another day once again. You may have continued days like these for years, perhaps even for decades. You have truly endured that weight so well. This is never because you were weak. Rather, it is precisely because you faced life so sincerely and so deeply that you were able to keep burning all the way to here. You have done nothing wrong. You are a person who has lived enough, and admirably. And from here, there is no longer any need to push hard. There is no longer any need to try to be someone who is not the true you. From now on the other side of the door named burnout, you will quietly meet your true self. That meeting may not be a dramatic one, but one morning, when you wake up, a moment when your heart suddenly feels lighter will surely arrive. It is a moment when, even though you have not achieved anything, you can somehow feel that you are fine just as you are. That is the signal that the true you has returned. Please, do not rush. If you hurry the true you, it will hide itself again. Simply, quietly, wait for it. Your future opens up gently, lightly, and together with a true joy, far more than you imagine. There is no doubt about this, because you have finally returned to the richest source of all, the source that is your true self. The universe is always on your side. Please, with peace in your heart, walk the life ahead of you, as the true you. A final message. If today's words touched your heart even a little, I would be very happy if you would give this video a like. It becomes a small declaration to the universe, a declaration that you yourself have certainly received the true meaning of burnout. And on this channel, I will continue to deliver messages that gently realign your life from the perspective of the universe, the soul, and frequency. If you feel you would like to return again, please subscribe to the channel and let us deepen our learning together in the next video. Finally, if you would like to send a signal to the universe that you have truly received today's message, I would be happy if you would write one short line in the comments. Simply write, "I have received it." That one line will surely carve today's frequency onto the side of the light. May infinite light and deep resonance be with your soul. Then, let us meet again in the next video. Thank you, truly, for listening all the way to here.